Living in Vietnam as a black woman has been freeing in a lot of ways that I didn't even expect. Who would think Vietnam? But it's also been very challenging in a lot of ways that, you know, it just comes and goes. So, for context, I am a 37-year-old American woman. I have a soon to be 8-year-old son whom I homeschool, and I'm soloing it out here. I don't have a ready made family or friends here. So, my goal is not to sell anybody on anything. I'm not why you should come to Vietnam. No, I am just giving information because there's not too much information, real talk about what expats really go through in other countries. Specifically, we're going to talk about Vietnam today. And if I could help anybody, I want to do that. So we're going to talk about a few key points. Make sure you like, subscribe to this video, and leave a comment below. Would you ever visit Vietnam, and what did you think about what I said? So the first thing, got my notes, that I want to talk to you about is the curiosity of the people. So, black women, we love our hair. And one thing I notice is that these people are touchy-feely. They are touchy-feely. They will touch your hair, no lie. If you check my other video, being sick in Vietnam during my first week, you'll see I had to go to the doctor's office. But what I didn't say in that video, in the doctor's office, it was this Vietnamese older woman sitting next to me, and I'm just sitting on the couch waiting for my turn to come. Next thing I know, I'm like, God damn, what's that? And she done scooted towards me on the couch, and she all up in my head. That will get your butt whooped in America, okay? But here they are so touchy-feely, and they are so curious about black people and our hair. It's not a threat, though. I don't feel like they're trying to hurt me, but it's still off-putting to be touched randomly. And let me tell you a story. So here where I live, we have like a kids center, playground place, and I took my son in there last week, and one of the housekeepers, I'm walking right past, and my son is walking right past, and one of the housekeepers grabbed my son by his shoulders and was like, look. She was speaking Vietnamese, but I could only imagine what she was saying. She was like, here, like touching him, pulling him, not in an aggressive manner, kind of like in an excited manner. And she was showing them his hair, because his hair is also locked up. And I was like, no. Because where I come from, you don't touch people's kids, and you don't touch people's hair without permission. Which leads me into the next bit. They don't have the same boundaries we have. Not just with the touching and the hair. And I talked to another black expat mom, and I was like, are they touching you? And she said, yes, they're touching us. But she said, I had to see if they do that to other kids. She said she sat back and she noticed that they just be touching people, even Vietnamese kids. So that leads me into point number 2. Their boundaries are just different than ours. Not only will they touch you, but they will cough and sneeze without covering their mouth. That's crazy to me. For a whole culture that be wearing a mask, you'll be sitting right here and there. You'd be like, mother, are you, like, that is so disrespectful in our American culture to not cover your mouth or to do one of them when you gotta cough and sneeze. But that's what they do here. And not just one or two, I'm talking about everybody. I ain't seen not one person, one Vietnamese person, cover their cough or their sneeze. So that's very off-putting. I don't think it's meant to be disrespectful. But I don't know how to take that. How would you take that? What's the next thing? Like I said, I don't feel like it's an aggressiveness, like I don't feel like it's an aggressiveness. I just feel like they don't have the same boundaries we have. Another boundary that I noticed that they cross is they will ask you personal questions just when meeting you, to a point where you like, why you gotta know that for? And they'll be like, oh, I'm just asking. Okay, back up off me. And I wonder, if I was a man, would they be all up in my business, or be asking me personal questions, or ask me 1,000,001 questions when we just first meet? I don't know. But as a Black American woman, it's a little strange, especially when it's mostly men who are asking you all these questions. So you take from that what you will. What else? Okay, safety. I feel safe, right? There's pros and there's cons. So one pro is where I am, District 9. I always have to say I'm in District 9, Ho Chi Minh. I'm not in the city center. I'm not in Da Nang. I'm in District 9 of Ho Chi Minh City. I feel pretty safe. I can walk outside at night with this camera. Nobody's gonna bother me. But let me tell you something. I think some Vietnamese people, locals, are not feeling safe with the foreigners. Not Americans per se, but because I'm in some expat groups, of course, like on Facebook. And Vietnamese people will say, hey, there's men hanging out downtown, and they're trying to hit on our wives, and they're following our women into stores and stuff like that. Please stop. Okay, so safety goes both ways, and I really empathize with that. Like, I don't want foreigners to come here and to make the people feel out of place or unsafe. Like, nobody should be following women around in stores. But let me tell you, it's them passport bros, and I'm not hating. A passport bro is a guy who travels to a country just for sex, for the women, for nefarious adventures. You know, they don't have boundaries either. So there are some foreigners from all countries that come here and they just act an ass. But me as a Black woman, no, I don't feel that way. I don't feel unsafe at all. Not at all. I can walk downtown at night, by the mall, go get me some pho, go get me some juice, and I feel perfectly safe. But that's because I live. Oh, there's a Black person right there. Hey, how you doing? How are you? Good. Where you from? Zimbabwe. Nice to see you. America. Yeah, I live right here in this building. Really? Thank you. 37. I'm your mom's age. Girl, how old are you? 19. It's good to see you. I'm Ebony. See you soon, hopefully. She just said I'm almost her mom's age. She's 19. She's from Zimbabwe. It was just this Black girl walking by, and I was like, hey, because when you see a Black woman or a Black family, you be like, hey, and that's real. But I can't believe she just said that I'm old enough to be her mama. Anyway, where was I? Okay, safety. I feel safe walking down the street. Like, the Vietnamese people don't bother me. They're pretty helpful. Even the Vietnamese men, they be chilling. But like I said, it's some foreigners that are kind of making the locals feel unsafe by following the women and all that. And why men gotta be like that? Men all over the world, y'all getting a bad rep. Tighten up. Okay? The next thing I want to talk about is the staring. This kind of goes into the boundaries. In America, if you staring at me, say hi, speak, smile. They will stare at you. and then you look at them back, and then after a while they may look away, or they'll smile then. But it's like, don't you understand you shouldn't stare at people? They don't get that. So Vietnamese people will stare at you because you're a little different, but it's not in a threatening manner. It's not a mean mug. It's not a disgusted look. It's just stare. What else I want to talk to you guys about? Racism. There's racism everywhere. Have I personally experienced it? I don't know, because I don't speak Vietnamese, so I don't know what they be saying. But when I go get my nails done at the spa, I joined a boxing gym, when I walk around in restaurants or just out, like, I don't feel racism. I don't feel like they treat me less than or differently. I just think they're curious. So they ask a bunch of questions. Where are you from? Why are you here? Things like that. So that's that. Which brings me to the language barrier. I know a couple words like Xin Jiao, Ka Moon is thank you, Xin Jiao is hello. That's all I know in Vietnamese. Do I have the bandwidth to learn Vietnamese? No. I don't really want to learn Vietnamese. Call it what you want. But I got other things on my mind, like building a business and living, right? So I try to make my life simple as possible. When you live in an environment like this, especially as a Black woman, you're gonna need support. So, for example, the owner that I'm renting my condo from, we have a house manager, which is her brother. So the house manager comes. I call him all the time. I've seen him twice today because I've had a dispute or needed help figuring something out, and I'm like, yo, Dan, come here, help me, right? So don't kid yourself. Like, if you don't know the language, you don't know anything about this place, you're gonna need some support. You're gonna have to have hired help, whether that's a driver that you have on speed dial. Hey, come pick me up, come take me here. You gotta make connections with the locals to help you. That is my biggest advice. And let me tell you something else. I've connected with maybe two expats families while I've been here, but sometimes the expats bring more drama than peace. No lie. I don't know what it is, but it's like sometimes the expats bring more drama than peace. So I really stay to myself. I go off vibes. I am around those who have a peaceful life. So when you move to a new place, wherever you go, don't think just because I'm a Black American and they're a Black American that we gonna hit it off or we can be a support to each other, because they be having their own drama and they're trying to adjust to the new environment themselves. So they don't know. They may know a little bit, they may have already made some connections, but don't lean too far on the expat community. It is good to be connected to the expat community because, you know, it's good to speak your own language. To speak English feels so good now. Like, I took it for granted. And then if you have children, you want them to play with other children who speak the language. So that's just another tip. Let's see, what else I want to talk to you guys about. Transportation in Vietnam. Like I said, I got a tuk-tuk driver on speed dial, so I have like two of them that I can reach out to on WhatsApp to come and pick me up and take me wherever I need. But you may also need an electric bike, a scooter or something. So think about it. There's no way in the world I will own a car here. No way in the world does, I live in a bubble. That's another thing. You got to make your life easy. I live in a bubble, and everything I need is within a mile radius, half a mile radius. So because I don't want a car, I'm scared to drive out here. Let me tell you something. I have witnessed 7, 8, 9-year-olds in traffic. I mean, crazy traffic worse than New York City, riding electric bikes, which is so amazing to me. Now let's talk about that. How is it raising our children here? It's different. There's pros and cons. I think it's a pro because it's calm. It's calm and we feel safe. That's the pro. The cons are most of the children don't speak English. They speak their native language. I think I've run into maybe 1 or 2 kids that I noticed spoke some English or understood what I was saying to them. But I've noticed when my son plays with the kids, the Vietnamese kids, they're usually pretty nice. I haven't had any acts of bullying, taunting, making fun of him because he's different, like none of that. Again, they're curious. They're gonna be looking at your children. They may give them a high five because kids are so innocent and so special. So their curiosity comes out. They're like, you want to play? You want to play? In their own language, right? But you could tell that that's what they're meaning. So, but I talked to my son about it, like how he feels, and one of the cons is there's not so many kids here that speak English, and that could feel frustrating, isolating for a child. I think luckily me and my son, we have a good connection. We talk about things, and I've connected with a couple of expat kids for him to have his feel, right? But that is a con. Maybe if you come with, I only got 1 kid, I'm one and done. But maybe if he has siblings, maybe if you have more than 1 kid, they can play with each other and offer each other that support. That would be a pro if you have more than 1 kid living abroad, because they will definitely be each other's best friends. Healthcare interactions, again, even the doctor is curious, but they gonna help you. And so, yeah, Vietnam, it's not for everybody. It really isn't. Like I said, I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm just giving you my real experience. So keep that in mind. It's not for everybody. And who it's not for is if you're not flexible. You got to be flexible. You got to be willing to not take things so personal, like somebody coughing on you or touching you. Right? I can't believe I said that. When that woman pulled my son, I was like, no, because I was just so taken aback. Like, who touches other people's kids? They do. So it's not for if you're like a really angry person, if you're about to fight everybody. You can't fight them all. So you just gotta chill and trust that you have made the right decision. For sure.
Okay, my daughter.
That's your daughter?
Yes.
Hello. Yes, have you ever seen dreadlocks before? Have you ever seen them before?
Yeah,
No, never.
Never do that.
Yeah.
But you very, I feel, how to say, very nice, okay lah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Which one do you live?
I live in America.
Oh, nice. I'm right here.
Yeah,
Oh, well, thank you. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank
My
you.
English was so not good.
No, you're perfect. I understood everything.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Hi, pretty girl.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. or exaggerating. Like, I was just sitting here filming, and this Vietnamese woman came up to me, and she was like, "Your hair." She didn't touch me, thank God. She kept her distance, but yes, she was very curious about where I was from, and she said she thought I was pretty and apologized for her broken English. And I was like, "No, you're fine, girl." But that's just one example of what you will get here. I'm so glad that I was able to catch that. But that's just one example of what you're gonna get here. So if you're not comfortable with a lot of questions or just interactions and curiosity about your hair, your skin, where you're from, don't come. Don't come.